Zelda officially has a sword now. We've got a great brand new trailer here from Nintendo for Echoes of Wisdom, and there's a lot of secrets to be seen in it, in fact, isn't there?
There's many interesting things, yes, there certainly is.
What did we just see just then? Have you seen that, fellas? We have just had our first look at the king, and oh dear, it seems he's in a spot of bother there, old boy, oh dear.
Yes,
down
the
he
king's
goes.
straight away down the hole, isn't he, really?
They don't last very long in Zelda games, do they,
No,
kings?
they
As a
don't.
general rule. As you can see, Zelda's shocked about this. It seems the king was drawn into another dimension, which we now know, thanks to this trailer, is called the Still World. Now, inside the Still World, we'll see in just a moment, it's like a sort of parallel dimension where people get petrified. No, not scared, but turned to stone or something like that. As you can see, we're being shown here in the trailer that all across the Kingdom of Hyrule, these rifts are opening up, including at Hyrule Castle. Now here we have, what on earth's going on here? Oh my goodness, we seem to have some form of entrance to the Still World, so Zelda can indeed go into this dimension, presumably to help people out.
Okay, yes, so she goes in there but doesn't turn to stone.
No, indeed, with her powers, I presume.
Yeah.
As you'll also see later in the trailer, there are various bosses to be found inside the Still World, so we're going to see a spot of that in just a moment. Now, in typical fashion here, the kingdom is fragmented and broken apart. We've got these ghostly floating zombie figures. I have to say, those are pretty scary, Bertie, wouldn't you say?
Well, they are, yes, that's the people turn to stone, isn't it?
They've been sort of petrified, they can't
Yes,
move anymore.
stuck, whatever.
If you don't save them, they're going to die permanently. It's quite heavy for a Zelda game, it really is. So this is quite a dark tone, a sort of Majora's Mask sort of darkness going on here. As you can see, she's able to navigate by jumping from platform to platform, using side-turned trees and other things like that. But what does she do when she gets stuck? Well, of course, no problem. Being Zelda, she can make things appear using this staff, such as beds and tables, to help her navigate. A rather clever idea. It's a bit Minecrafty, really, isn't it?
A little bit like that, yes. So what about the sword, though?
A sword, indeed. We're going to see later on in the trailer, not just yet, mind, but later on, Zelda now has the power to wield a sword. But more on that in just a moment. For now, of course, she's using her abilities here to create bombs and throw them at enemies, that kind of thing. A bit of side-scrolling here going on, typical of Link's Awakening, that kind of vibes there, I think, which is rather interesting. Indeed, the whole game, I would say, has those Link's Awakening vibes, if you remember that remake on the Switch. This is the same sort of art style, the same sort of thing going on. Now, of course, an encounter in the Still World, which makes me think this must be like the dungeon of the game, the dungeon area.
Yes, it could well be, yes. And I think the graphics and everything's been quite well done with the game, hasn't it?
I think so. I'm just going to go back to that. Did you see that? Zelda is going to bed in the middle
Yes.
of a boss. What's going on here?
Yes.
I think she did that to avoid getting hit by the slam attack. That's my
Yes,
theory.
it stops the tremors, I think.
Indeed.
Yes, it does.
So, of course, we've got rifts here, which presumably work like teleports, teleporting you between parts of the world. Zelda there using a boulder to stop the fire, and another boulder there. And, of course, large chests inside these dungeons. So, once again, very much with that classic Zelda dungeon feel. Get the chest, get the boss key, etc. and so forth.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
So I'm already liking what I'm seeing here. These dungeons are looking very exciting inside the Still World.
They are indeed, and a bit sort of Mario as well, aren't they? With the fire.
With the side-scrolling. Now, of course, we come on to the moment everyone's been waiting for, the sword fighter form. Now, here is a sword. Goodness me, of course Zelda's going to get that. There, she's got it. And as you'll see, when she transforms into Sword Zelda, is it? Wearing Link's outfit? Or similar to Link's, I'm not sure. She, of course, gains this blue aura, the ability to spin slash, and this ability is not infinite. This is a time-limited ability.
It is, and as you'll see, she also has a special shield there.
Indeed, a hide-in shield to defend herself, so very much traditional Link stuff going on here. And as you can see though, if your meter runs out, you're going to depower back into regular Zelda.
Yes.
This is quite an interesting mechanic. What do you think, Bertie?
Well, I think it's obviously a reference to Link, isn't it?
Well, clearly, the ability to slash enemies here, I think fans were perhaps wondering whether or not it would have that traditional sort of sword-slashing gameplay, or if it would just be a bunch of block chucking. But no, Zelda can use a sword, and you can replenish the gauge, it seems, by gathering those energy balls. So it seems the gauge may not necessarily fill up over time. You're going to have to replenish it.
Certainly, yes. So is Link stuck in the world, I wonder?
Well, Link appears to not be here. We presume he's going to need a bit of saving. We've got Dampé, the Gravekeeper here, who seems to be able to create various gear for you, such as this interesting gadget that can be thrown at enemies and have at them. Look at that.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's very clever. Of course, we've got some sort of distracting device here, using these musical notes to turn enemies into rupees. We have, is that an octo? A mechanical octo rock. Very clever. And what's that thing? Oh, interesting. So plenty of NPCs to see. The Swordmaster, I presume, a parachuting gentleman here, and the Gerudo and the Gorons. Haha!
Yes, so let's just talk about the sword for a minute.
Yes.
Once she picks up the sword, presumably she can use it any time.
Well, I presume so.
Or is it some sort of power-up basis?
Well, it seems to be limited though, doesn't it? So I presume you'll be able to use the sword whenever, as long as you have energy, so conserving that gauge will be important. Oh, poor old Zelda, she's affected by the weather there, poor thing. But indeed, I really like the idea. Ah, yes, it seems, well said, Bertie, as you can see, there's a button. Press up on the D-pad, as it were, to activate the sword. Hide in barrels as well. Clever bit of stealth going on there. There's so much to do in this game. My goodness.
It looks very well made, I must say. Yes, looks a good game.
I have to say, my excitement for this game has increased a lot since seeing these new dungeons, Sword Zelda. What do you say, Fadil? Let us know in the comment section, I say.
Most certainly, yes. I think we've got a good game here.
I'm looking forward to playing this one. I have to say, this really does look like a blast. This hasn't even GameChap and Bertie, bringing you exciting news on Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you once more in the next exciting outing, I say. Until then!